The Wolf Among Us offers a grim and twisted fate of numerous fairy tales once believed to be sunshine and rainbows with a happy ever after. In 2013, Telltale Games released this episodic masterpiece shaped by the choices you make throughout the game. It's based on the DC comic book called Fable, created by Bill Willingham. My first playthrough was a couple months post-release, after hearing how good it was from my friends, so I'll be playing it again to see if it holds up or not 10 plus years later. This game serves as a prequel to the comic book, and would also go on to become not only one of the best games ever made, but one of the most debated games still talked about to this day. More so now that the second game is coming out. So spoilers ahead, and if you have not played this game yet, you turn this video off. Turn it off right now and go play it. Then come back and tell me what you think.
105 today again if you missed it, a record for the date. Hottest ever in June, 103 now, and that humidity looks low, but remember, the hotter the air is, the more moisture it can hold. So 103 with 31% humidity is a lot more humid than, say, 73 with 31% humidity. And it is muggy out there.
The Wolf Among Us takes place in Fabletown, a hidden community within New York divided into 3 sections. There's the Upper West Side where passable fables, those who look human, mostly live, the meatpacking district called the Crooked Mile, and the farm where fables who cannot pass as human are forced to live. What most of them all have in common is the everyday struggles of being kicked out of the homelands, the origin place of all fables, now being forced to live and hide as humans. Bigby Wolf, also known as the Big Bad Wolf from the Little Red Riding Hood, is the town's appointed sheriff. He is actually half wolf, his mother is the Winter Wolf, and his father the Spirit of the North Wind, like literally the wind itself. He can go in and out of a human and wolf form respectively. He is also the protagonist of this game. Our story takes place inside an apartment building during a disturbance call. Here we meet our first fable, Mr. Toad. His origin thrives from The Wind in the Willows children's book published by Kenneth Grahame in 1908. You might have read it in school. Toad was the one who called after hearing loud noises and arguing upstairs. Before we investigate, we ask him about his appearance, specifically, where is his glamour? Glamours are what non-passable fables must use to alter their appearance to look human. Glamours are provided by witches on what is called the 13th floor. The glamours are expertly made, with the trade-off being the expensive price. If you can't afford to look human, you're going to the farm, we tell Toad whilst heading up the stairs towards the noise. Inside, a man and woman are fighting. He smacks her, prompting us to push him to the wall, holding him back. The woman spits blood on him and he shoves us back, asking what are we gonna do now? Get out of the way before we get the axe again. If the axe didn't give it away, this guy is the woodsman who is also from Little Red Riding Hood. We try to reason with him because he's drunk and don't want to put the woodsman down unless we absolutely have to. Well, that little threat was enough to set him off taking a swing at us. Here is the first of many quick time events that are throughout the game. Normally I find these annoying and obnoxious, but with this game they fit perfectly. Getting the upper hand on the woodsman, we take this time to talk to the woman, telling her to get out while she can. But she won't leave until she gets what is owed to her, money. The woman is a prostitute, which is crazy to me that these once fairy tale creatures are now out in these streets hooking. She's a lot lizard. A streetwalker, if you will. Anywho, the harlot tells us her name is Faith, all while the woodsman is getting up and ready for round 2. Not this time though, because we tackle him through a window, landing on Mr. Toad's car. The woodsman somehow still able to get up after all that, pull us off the car and choke us.
Help me, I can't breathe, I'm dying.
So, you can't really talk when you're being choked, can you? Bigby gets close to wolfing out, indicated by his eyes turning yellow, when BAM! The Lady of the Night comes to the rescue, axing the woodsman in his head. And still, somehow, still alive. Turns out fables are very durable and hard to kill. Kind of an understatement. We question Faith more, trying to figure out who she works for. These lips are sealed, is her response, then asking if we like her ribbon. We ask if we met before. Faith responds with, probably have, since they're all from the same place, everyone knew each other at some point. We turn back to see the woodsman has snuck away. Let me pause here. Mr. Toad's license plate says Totally? I found that funny. I then make the cardinal sin of giving a woman money, telling her we need a statement which will have to wait for both parties to get cleaned up, and it's late. Faith tells us we aren't as bad as everyone says we are, and we go on about our merry way home. Walking into the apartment building we live in, a noise is heard revealing to be Beauty from Beauty and the Beast hiding behind a tree. She's late for something, begging us not to tell Beast we saw her. Here we select the silent dialogue option because that is not my marriage and I do not care. That's how you get wrapped up in some BS drama, and I'm not about that life. Inside the building, the security guard is sleeping. Good thing I'm not a bad guy anymore. Before we take the elevator, Beast stops us asking if we've seen Beauty, but just like that lustful alley cat, my lips are sealed, letting the door close in his face. Inside our apartment, and oh boy, we ain't got shit. Except dirt and a dream. Not even ice in the freezer. However, will I have my cold beverage? We also have a roommate, Colin. Yes, he is one of the pigs whose house was blown down by the big bad wolf. He's also an alcoholic. We talk about the farm and how Colin should be there. Colin says it's not the fresh air and sunshine pitch they tell you. Fables are miserable there, pleading with us to not send him back. We tell him we won't because, come on, who doesn't want an alcoholic talking pig as a roommate? Colin suggests we stop being a lone wolf and a tough guy. Life is better with friends and fables live a long time. We share our drink with him and fall asleep in the chair. Awakened to a knock on the door from Snow White, no need to explain her. She tells us to come with her, but cannot tell us what it is about due to the walls being so thin inside the apartment. Outside is an object covered by a jacket, and just what is that object? Surprise! It's the Trollop's severed head. Dun dun dun! We inform Snow about the previous events, asking her who found the head, Snow not knowing. We begin to investigate, finding Faith's ribbon stuffed in her mouth, with a ring donned in an unrecognizable symbol tied to the end of it. She was also placed there deliberately for someone to find. We look around and find a blood trail leading to a fence. Looks like someone hurt themselves trying to get away, leaving behind a torn piece of fabric. Now here is my first complaint about the game. In a world with magic, talking animals, glamours, you name it, how is there no way to detect someone's blood? No magic DNA test? Anyways, we conclude she was left as a message and head into the main office, Crane's office, the next day. There is a line of fables waiting to be seen, one upset that we can just walk in there and not have to wait like them. Dog, I work here. Then we get to meet Crane.
Yes, I see. Because you are the one bringing this to me, Miss Snow. The one who so simply stumbled upon this catastrophe on our very doorstep. The last thing I need with Mayor Cole away is a hysteria. Do you understand me?
Yes, of course I do.
Don't interrupt me, Miss Snow.
You asked me a question.
Don't change the subject. You are to blame for this unpleasantness, Miss Snow.
I brought you this news as soon as I could.
You are trusted to keep things running smoothly around here. This is a disaster. Who else is to blame if not you?
It isn't anyone's fault. Instead of trying to assign blame, maybe we should figure out how to catch the fucker who did this.
Oh, is that how you see things? Sheriff, you are the one charged with protecting the citizens of Fabletown. Your failure to do so cost someone their life and the safety of the entire community. Tell me you've been doing something. Are there any leads? Suspects? Anything. Anything at all. Any shred of evidence you two know what the hell you're doing. Because right now, I have half a mind to fire the both of you.
Yeah, Crane is a rude sack of garbage. He's Ichabod Crane from the Sleepy Hollow tale about the Headless Horseman, published in 1866 by author Thomas Mayne Reid. He's now acting mayor for Fabletown until King Cole returns. We inform Crane about what's going on, and we speculate the pimp is behind the killing. We need to hurry up and get things figured out, Crane rudely tells us. Meanwhile, he'll be getting a massage. Yeah, we all know what that means. After Crane leaves, we meet Buffkin, one of the flying monkeys from The Wizard of Oz, who is, also an alcoholic. Snow tells him to get the Book of Fables and suggests we look around for more information about Faith. You can find tarot cards on Crane's desk, and if you've already played the game, I encourage you to look at them again as you progress. After that, we find the magic mirror. We can ask about a few fables, Snow, the Woodsman, and Buffkin, before asking about Faith that leads to nothing because we don't know her real name. The mirror only shows fables in the exact moment, Woodsman stumbling down the street, Buffkin drinking when he was supposed to be getting the book. Inside the book are several symbols and tales. We come across the same symbol that was on the tied ring. It's from a family named, oh boy, give me a minute, Alarliru? Yeah, say that 5 times fast. I can't even say it once.
Donkey Skin Girl, also known as Donkey Skin, also known as Ass Skin, prefers to go by the name Faith. Poetic?
Buffkin, we don't need the commentary.
The story of Donkey Skin. There was once a great king with a beautiful queen. The queen grew ill and had her husband promise to only marry the most beautiful girl in the kingdom. After a long search, it became clear that the only woman in the land that could match her beauty was his daughter, Faith. She had a magic cloak made from the skin of her father's prized donkey that would hide her beauty so she could escape his kingdom. Eventually, she married a prince who could see past the magic cloak and knew her true beauty. And they lived happily ever after.
Well, that's depressing. Back to the mirror to find where Prince Lawrence is, Snow wondering if we suspect him. It's just best to tell him what happened. We get a glimpse of him sitting in a chair with a bloody dagger beside him. Leaving the office, the phone begins to ring. It's Toad, needing us to come back because there is someone going through the woodsman's things, being interrupted by the person approaching him. Here is the first impactful choice to be made. Do you go to Toad's apartment, or do you go to Prince Lawrence's? Now, it may seem obvious to go to Lawrence, but keep in mind, the woodsman was with Faith the night before, so why would someone be rummaging through his stuff? Arriving to the building, we tell Snow how we flew out the window onto Toad's car, when spotting someone through the destroyed wall inside the woodsman's place. They spot us and start running away. Back to talk with Toad, sees him talking to his visibly upset son, TJ. He's now changing the story. There was never anyone in the woodsman's place. Must have been a leaky pipe. He is pushing us increasingly to leave. Snow is able to talk to TJ, getting him to calm down and show her his insect collection so we can investigate. Throughout the house are obvious signs of a struggle. Busted locks on the door, scratch marks on the window, a broken lamp, and blood on a fireplace poker, all while Toad is making up and changing the story about what happened, ending in him getting caught in lies. As we are calling him out, Snow, accompanied by TJ, step out of his room after showing Snow the insect collection. Toad bends down to hug him, revealing blood dripping from the top of his head onto his shirt collar. Tweedledee, or Tweedledum, hard to tell the pair apart, were the ones inside the woodsman's place. They kicked in Toad's door screaming about the woodsman having something or had something, beating up Toad when he told Tweedle he didn't have it or know what he was talking about. Toad wanted to tell us everything until he was told that if he ever spoke about what happened, his son would be killed. A coat was offered to one of the Tweedles to leave Toad and his son alone, a coat stolen from Faith that was left behind, the same donkey skin coat she used to hide her beauty, with a note attached to it addressed to Prince Lawrence. Arriving to his place, we peek in through his already open door, Snow asking to check to see if he's home. Literally no option to tell her, there's his body right there on the floor. This dude is still somehow alive, with a self-inflicted gunshot to the head and his wrist slit. We ask him who did this. He says Faith did. Then he dies. Snow then opens the letter, Faith telling him she is sorry. That's it. Investigating Lawrence's place leads to a pull-out bed with a bloody note attached for Faith. Lawrence is also sorry. Never meaning to hurt her, he cannot endure knowing that he has. This was for the best, but he'll see her again. The reason why this choice was so impactful for the story is because had I went to Prince Lawrence's first, I could have potentially saved him from suicide. Tweedledee is found hiding in a closet, busting out of it when we get close. A chase ensues, leading to more QTEs. The game tries to trick you when you are faced with a 2-door option, but if you pay attention to the moving apartment door number, that's the one Tweedledee went through. We catch him, and he said he was only there to ask Lawrence a few questions about Faith. When he mentioned Faith was dead, Lawrence freaked out, shooting himself in front of Dee. Hearing Bigby and Snow outside the door forced him to hide in the closet to not get blamed for it. Dee is also looking for the woodsman and has information that he is currently at the Trip Trap, suggesting they both head over there. We press him for more questions like who is he working for, when his brother, Tweedledum, hits us in the head, knocking us unconscious. Coming to, we see Snow and inform her we need to go to the Trip Trap. Inside the bar, we begin questioning the bartender, Holly, on the whereabouts of the woodsman. She gives us the runaround before he steps out from the back. Seems Woody has now had enough of fighting us, wanting to get drunk in peace. Grin, known as Grendel from Beowulf, tries to intimidate us when we switch seats getting closer to Woody. Woody starts talking about the girl, and at the time I thought he was referring to Faith. He goes into the story of Little Red Riding Hood. Woody was never going to save Little Red and her grandmother. In fact, he had been scoping her place out for weeks. He was so sure that the grandmother had money, even though it didn't appear that way, and she wouldn't put up much of a fight. When the woodsman worked up enough courage to rob them, he found that the wolf, Bigby, was already laying in her bed. The only reason he saved them was in hopes to get a reward from Little Red and her grandma, but he of course didn't get anything, except people calling him a hero, which was unwanted, and a free drink every now and then.
Grin then slams his glass, telling everyone to shut up. He's upset that Faith is the only focus when Holly's sister was already reported missing. Filled with anger, Grin transforms into his true form, as well as Holly revealing to be a troll. The only thing I could find out about Holly is that she is a bridge troll. I think she was just made for the game/comic book. We start getting roughed up by the pair, trying to evade hits and objects thrown at us, while trying to remain calm and not take it overboard, until Grin slams us via the Hulk slamming Loki around, and well, that's enough to wake up the wolf. Ooh, that's cringe. We have a visible change in feature, giving off a more wolfish appearance and completely body Grin. Yeah, how do you like getting tossed around? Doesn't feel good, does it, you deformed shark? We're given the opportunity to tear Grin's arm off, which I totally did in my first playthrough. This time I decide to let him keep it. In an attempt to calm down, we order a drink from Holly, whiskey, and make it a double. Then I am once again reminded of my cardinal sin. We gave a woman money. Since I gave Faith the money I had at the beginning of the game, we are now unable to pay for the drink. Feels bad. Just then, Tweedledee walks in, offering $100 to anyone who can provide information about Faith. He spots us and begins to run away, as well as Woody. You can choose to either go after Dee or Woody. As suspicious as Dee has been, going after him is a no-brainer. We arrest him and head back to the office that now has human police officers surrounding it. We cuff him to a street lamp, making our way towards the building, past the surrounding cops to reveal Snow's severed head at the doorstep. At the end of each episode, statistics are shown for the choices you and other people have made. I love this feature and I wish more game devs would do this, especially for bigger titles like what Larian did for Baldur's Gate 3. Episode 2 kicks off inside an interrogation room. We are being asked if we know anything when suddenly the detective starts looking around frantically, clearly bothered by something. A very annoyingly loud noise is heard, thanks for setting off my tinnitus, when her nose starts bleeding and she passes out, as well as the officers behind the glass window. In walks Crane holding the evidence box. He used a memory wipe spell. Everyone in the station will forget the last 24 hours. We grab the photo of Snow off the table and walk out. Inside Crane's car, he informs us Dee wasn't involved in Snow's killing. It happened when he was at the Trip Trap with us, and that Bluebeard is currently interrogating him. Bluebeard is from a French folktale written by Charles Perrault, first published by Barbin in Paris in 1697. It's about a wealthy nobleman who likes to kill his wives. That's it. Marry him, kill him. Crane talks about his sadness since Snow died, and that we need to hurry up and catch the person who's behind all this. He's concerned there will be another fable left at the doorstep. Visually upset as we leave, we slam the car door, breaking the window. Inside the basement of the luxury apartment, Bluebeard is interrogating. Crane orders him to step aside and let Bigby handle it with no violence. What I find funny about this is usually in murder mystery-esque shows, games, movies, etc., the suspect is always roughed up in some capacity, almost always giving away details that otherwise they shouldn't. However, in this situation, being kind or silent is the best option to get Dee talking. Well, I did pocket his wad of cash, but I needed that for groceries. Yes, groceries. A bottle of whiskey and a cigar we find can be offered to him, which leads to Dee spilling the beans about Faith. She wasn't this nice girl she pretended to be. A thief, Dee calls her, also revealing she stole from his boss. He then talks about knowing Beauty and how that they're real close. Bluebeard, now angry we've been treating Dee like a house guest, shoves past us to beat on him more. We restrain him when suddenly the door opens, revealing Snow is still alive. Back in the apartment lobby, we inform Snow on what was happening down there, her accusing us of hurting him even though we didn't. Snow goes on to say that she got a call the previous night from Toad, saying his son found a body. TJ is inside the office, and when you talk to him about what happened, you need to be gentle, otherwise he'll get scared and shut down. TJ was swimming one night when he heard people approaching. Mr. Toad told him if that ever happened, TJ was to stay under the water and wait for whoever to leave. A body without a head was dumped into the water with cinder blocks tied to its ankles. TJ got scared and went to the top when he heard someone say, "Quit laughing." He didn't see who it was, and about this time is when you must stop questioning him or you'll upset everyone. I don't like this because even if you continue to ask him stuff, he won't know anything. In my opinion, we should have been able to get a little more information about what he saw at the cost of losing friendship points with Toad and Snow. Or maybe something along the lines of, TJ will remember how you treated him and won't talk again, like when you see him in the last part of the game. Or something happens later in the game, and because of how pushy you were with TJ, Toad won't let you around him anymore. At the bottom of the apartment building lies the Witching Well Chamber, a well that disposes of fables leading back to the homelands. This is where we will be investigating the other Snow's body. Someone was glamored to look like her. Looking over the body, you can see the rope marks around her previously tied ankles, as well as multiple track marks going up her thigh, indicating she was heavily using Mundy drugs. Mundy is the word fables use to describe humans and human things. Purple flowers are found clenched in her hand, and a brooch with a mysterious sigil pinned to her lapel. Something isn't right here, because a glamour is made to change every aspect of the person, so why are the track marks and brooch visible? Moreover, the glamored body's jacket has 4 buttons while the real Snow's only has 3. It's a sloppy glamour, something the witches on the 13th floor would never do. That only leaves black market glamours, while not illegal, is heavily frowned upon. Crane then shows up asking if we found anything out, telling us to get a move on because the killer might get another victim. A bottle of perfume is found on the body with a note that says, "Use this." The same perfume found on Snow's desk. Someone wanted this glamored person and gave specific instructions to act like Snow. We then find the glamour tucked away on the body. It's a capsule with a puzzle attached. Matching the pieces together opens it. Inside is a picture of Snow that had been missing from her home and a locket of her hair. The body is then de-glamored, revealing a troll with a tattoo on her ankle. This is Holly's missing sister, Lily. Back at the Trip Trap sees Gran and Holly talking with a man named Jack. This is Jack Frost, Jack the Giant Slayer, Jack Horner. He's got a lot of aliases. Gren and Holly become nervous when we show up, Jack then taunting that they're all big and bad, but when the wolf shows up, they back down. Holly, now grieving her sister's death, tells Snow it should have been her that died. Snow then gives the sigil back to Holly. It's copper from a dwarven mine. Now speaking with Holly alone, she says that she didn't know that much about Lily's life. They didn't talk often. She did know that Lily was a prostitute to pay down debt. She absolutely hated it, but was able to get everything paid off except for the people she worked for, a club called the Pudding and Pie. The owner, Georgie, makes all the employees pay fees. It's a tactic used to keep them all under his thumb. Holly then asks where is the body. She wants to go claim it in order to perform a troll ritual for the dead. Arriving to the Pudding and Pie strip club, we are greeted by a woman with another ribbon around her neck. She's giving the company line of, "We have what you need, discretion, blah blah blah, we're whores." Inside is another woman practicing her moves, and oh boy, gonna have a fun time censoring this one. Anywho, this rude sack of garbage is Georgie, specifically Georgie Porgy.
He ain't just kissing girls anymore, he's pimping them. We start questioning him about all that's been going on. Does he know anything about Lily? Who were her clients? Who would have wanted her to look like Snow White? Of course, we get the runaround and wasting our time until another worker, Hans, chimes in talking about a book that keeps all the details about the girls. Now all of a sudden, Georgie is like, what book? Now we get the opportunity to destroy his stuff, starting with his music box, moving to his cigarette machine and pretty much everything you can get your hands on, finally stopping at the DJ equipment. You can choose to not destroy anything, just do some kind of intimidating walk towards them. Either way, he'll give up the key to the floor safe we found walking through the place. Lily's last client was someone named Mr. Smith, as if that's actually a person. Georgie says there's plenty of Mr. Smiths, Jones, etc. Just then we see the woman from earlier peeking out a door. So we start talking to this lady, wondering who she is. Haven't seen her before. She knows we're trying to place her, and turns out this is the Little Mermaid. Real name Nerissa. Her legs aren't a glamour either. She paid good money for them, asking if we like them. Questioning her leads to the same answer Faith gave us. These lips are sealed. Getting frustrated, we slam the book down next to her, pointing to Lily and her client, demanding to know who he is and what is room 207 where they meet at. Nerissa then asks if we would like to make an appointment with her. Quickly catching on to what she's getting at, we book an appointment and are given a key to the room 204 inside the Open Arms Hotel. Thank God we snatched that money from Tweedledee earlier to pay Nerissa. Inside the hotel, the desk worker isn't there, so we head to the room. When the worker shows up as we're walking up the stairs, telling us we need to check in, it's Beauty. She has been working at this sleazy hotel to afford rent. Only a few people know, not even her husband Beast. He would be furious to know she was working here. We suggest telling him, prompting her to say she will, she just needs to do it on her own time, then thanking us for covering for her back in episode 1. Let me stop you right there. I didn't cover for her. I didn't say anything to her when she asked not to tell Beast we saw her. The same with Beast. I was silent. Doesn't make any sense that the game defaults to you siding with Beauty. Now I can agree that there should still be some kind of consequences with one of them for your actions if you actually choose to pick a side, but picking no side because honestly they both suck ass could have led to both having animosity towards us. There's this neat little thing called accountability. That's the word of the day. ACCOUNTABILITY. Accountability. Beauty should be held accountable for not talking to her husband of hundreds of years. If you don't think your husband of that long will be understanding, then your relationship has poor communication. Rant over, moving on. We arrive at room 204, but you already know we ain't going in there. 207 is the place to get answers, and Beast shows up at the worst possible time. Certainly doesn't look like we're having an affair with Beauty in a wholesome place like this. You can probably guess what happens next. He attacks us, and honestly, I can't blame him for it. His wife has been ducking and dodging him all this time, not answering his questions and being a sneaky little snake. I'd think the same thing too. This loops back to accountability. You're given an option to continue laying the smackdown on him, but I stopped. Already embarrassing enough you got beat up from the fight you started. No need to further cuck you in front of your wife, but he just can't have enough getting back up for round 2 until we shove him into the door, busting it open, to a blood-covered bed with purple flowers, the same flowers Lily had clutched in her hand upon her death. There is no set time for when this could have happened. When Beauty talks about being on shift, unintentionally telling Beast she works there. My question is, how did you not smell this? Especially Bigby, given that he's a literal wolf. How did you not smell it as soon as you got in the hallway? Anywho, there is a Monday book about Snow White left on the table, with post-it notes on various pages asking questions about the story, as if the person who did this was leaving notes for themselves. Seems the killer likes the idea of Snow inside the see-through coffin completely helpless. A few items are also on the table: wine, cheap cigarettes, and a cassette tape labeled "For My Arrival." Inside the closet next to the table is a replica of Snow's dress and the story partially torn apart. We think the killer was using a glamored Lily to recreate what happened to Snow White in the book, going as far as to use an apple to resemble the poisoned one from the story, only without the actual poison. A file is found sticking out under the bed. Inside there are a few pictures of Snow taken over a year or so from the killer stalking her. Bigby, now in a panic, as the last picture is Crane filling up Lily glamored as Snow, Crane watching on from the view of the magic mirror, shattering it so no one will know the truth. So here is what I didn't like about that ending part. When we first speak with the mirror asking about fables, he is only able to show us that person in the moment. A few seconds, then it goes blank. I don't know if the mirror is able to watch someone indefinitely, as that was never established. If that isn't how the mirror works, then Crane would have had unbelievable timing knowing exactly when to ask the mirror to see us. That's lazy writing in my opinion, because no previous lore was established the mirror can do that. It comes off as, oh, Crane can do this to further the story, and oh, what is going to happen next now that Crane knows we know? Beauty could have been a better setup for this, playing dumb about not knowing who rented the room, so when she takes us up there she can excuse herself to call her employer, who in return calls Crane. Otherwise, this means Crane would have had to been watching us since the moment we left after examining Lily. I just think this is lazy convenient writing. Now in a fit of rage, we are storming out of the hotel when Beauty stops us asking to not show Snow the pictures because she's already been through a lot, alluding to real things that previously happened to her. Underneath the Buckingham Bridge is where Holly is holding the funeral for her sister. Snow is there giving the eulogy, kinda odd since she really didn't know her. You'd think Holly would have, but whatever. You can interrupt her or wait until she finishes. I chose the latter, looking over to the altar for Lily with cards written by her fellow hookers, Gren and Holly. It was a nice send-off. When Snow is finished yapping, she greets us when Holly immediately gets up yelling that we weren't invited. Joke's on you, I don't actually want to be here, just need to talk to Snow. A shame you can't tell her that. What we do tell her is sorry for your dead sister. Holly doesn't want to hear it because she is convinced we threw Lily down the witching well, when in fact it was Crane, Snow tells her. After the commotion, we pull Snow aside and talk to her about what was found in room 207. Crane was using Lily to glamour herself as Snow to relive out the events of the book Snow White. We have the option to show her the pictures, but I decided not to. No sense in showing someone else a cursed image, but she was at least told about them. Narissa interrupts, telling Snow that Holly wanted her as they are preparing for the burning. Just then, the Tweedle twins show up with shotguns pressed against our back. They know we've been after Crane, demanding us to leave him alone. We leave Crane alone, and they leave us alone, including those we associate with. In a rush to get them to leave in order to not further disturb the funeral, we agree, but it's too late. Holly has already spotted them. When she asks what's going on here, the twins don't share, just that we agreed to a deal. Dumb, then calling the funeral a wedding or whatever, sets Holly and Gren off transforming. Bigby and Snow try to calm everyone, but when Dee calls Lily just a dead whore, the pair attack, with Lily getting immediately blasted with a shotgun, Gren jumping on top of Dumb while we struggle with Dee for his shotgun, leading to Gren getting blasted by Dumb because his hand was free. We turn to help, then you guessed it, blasted too. Back at the office, Dr. Swinehart, one of the characters from The Three Army Surgeons, a Brothers Grimm fairy tale published in 1815, is patching us up. Buffkin is trying to assemble the broken pieces to the mirror. Snow decides now is a good time to ask if we enjoy when things go wrong, because it gives us an excuse to let off. What prompted this? I will never understand why this part was put into the game. Oh, Bigby, do you like going out of your way all the time? Do you enjoy seeing your kind mistreated and suffering? Didn't you like seeing a picture of Lily glamored as me so Crane can live out some rape fantasy? Don't you just love being shot? Isn't this a fun time? Are you not having fun? Like, this is so stupid. Nothing all the way up to this indicated that we liked doing what we do. Every time we'd wolf out, it was because we had to defend ourselves and or are close to death or something like that. Each time ended in anger and frustration. Why would we enjoy this? Why would we agree to being sheriff if we wanted to stick to our old ways of being a dick and enjoying chaos. Fuck no is the best response to give her to this very stupid question. Buffkin goes on to say that there is a missing piece to the mirror. Crane must have taken it. Now it's time to do things the old-fashioned way without the mirror, Snow puts it, as if we haven't been doing that all this time. Not sure why she would say that since we've only used the mirror a few times. We find a few letters to Crane from other fables talking about appliances messed up in their apartments, still waiting for him to do something about it. He's never done anything for them at all. He's basically a slumlord. The key to room 207 at the Open Arms is also found on his desk, and pulling the drawer out has a book with a torn out page. Buffkin can make out some of what's left on the page, citing it's a ring. Every magical item not retained in the armory is assigned to someone in Fabletown. It must belong to a witch that Crane is going to see from a conversation overheard by Buffkin shortly after Crane destroyed the mirror. Bluebeard storms in asking if we are able to find Crane or not. He's fed up because it's his money that is invested in Fabletown. Bluebeard wants things fixed and to go back to how they were. We tell him we're going to search in hopes to find a lead before 2 a.m. That's when Crane is supposed to meet this witch. Bluebeard forces his help, thinking us to be incompetent. He will go wherever we don't. Here we are presented with three options. Go see Holly at her bar in an attempt to go through Lily's belongings, since she was using the glamours the witch made for Crane to give to her, the Tweedle's office since they seem to know so much, or Crane's apartment seeing that he is heavily involved in this. Crane's apartment is the obvious first choice since we're already here, just need to head up to the luxury apartments. The apartment door is already open, so we head inside. This dude is so full of himself. He's got a portrait and a sculpture of himself. Searching inside, a letter is discovered addressed to someone named the Crooked Man. This is all I could get. I'm afraid Snow will start to notice. I'll have the rest for you next week. Well, he won't be needing this money anymore, so I'm gonna go ahead and pocket that. What an absolute piece of garbage. Do nothing to help other fables in desperate need of fixes to their homes, glamoring a prostitute because of your unhealthy love/lust obsession with Snow, and stealing from the very same people. A key is found in the same spot as the letter used to open the door to Crane's bedroom. Jack is inside being caught stealing, attempting to escape through the window. He tries to run past us, quickly being caught pinned to the wall. Jack says he is there to steal, which is technically the truth, but steal what? He tries to make a deal with us, talking about a rumor that Crane has a witch he's been going to. If we agree to the deal of letting him go, he'll tell us who she is. Silence is the best strategy here, making Jack break and telling us her name anyways, Auntie Greenleaf. Crane has been keeping her under wraps for years, and unfortunately no one knows where she lives. Jack, now leaving, tries to be sneaky and take the bag with him. Snatching it away, a glamour is found inside. Jack wanted to sell them at the Lucky Pawn, one of the Crooked Man's places. He sometimes works at the pawn shop because he needs stability, as he puts it. Snow arrives and is informed about all that has transpired. Then we make our way to Dee's office. Flycatcher, the frog from The Frog Prince, also from the Brothers Grimm in 1812, is now a custodian at Dee's office. He's been punched in the eye by Bluebeard for not helping him investigate. Bluebeard told him we sent him there, but Flycatcher had no proof of that, so he wouldn't help him. Still, Bluebeard found something anyways. Flycatcher talks about being bounced around from jobs because of Crane, until the twins offered him a job there working the night shift. We offer him a job working for us, but can't make any promises, telling him to stop by at the office tomorrow. With time running out, we ask him to call Snow to tell her what happened here. Gren and Woody are in the bar, with Gren clearly intoxicated. Woody tells us Holly is sleeping in the back and unable to be woken up due to Dr. Swinehart giving her and Gren bar medical ambrosia for their injuries during the funeral. You're supposed to go to sleep after taking it, but as Gren puts it, if you resist going to sleep, it will give you a very, very, very nice high. Gren wants to have a toast to Lily. You can decide not to, but I figured why not. Woody telling Gren he needs to rest after Gren drops a glass, like the doctor said, causes Gren to blow up on him, leading to a shoving match that we just sit back and watch. Gren is upset because Woody has been paying Lily to sleep with him behind their backs, Holly only finding out after going through her belongings. Not to be that guy, but why would he tell anyone he was paying a woman for sex, regardless of who she is? Not only that, I wouldn't exactly call Lily and Holly close, as previously stated by Holly. To me, it seems Gren had feelings for Lily and is now taking that out on Woody. I like that we have the option to not pick a side because in the end, whatever did happen is between them. Woody leaves and Gren tells us Lily's stuff is in the back with Holly. Just don't wake her. Sleepwalkers and trolls. That's the rules, as he puts it. As we are going through Lily's stuff, Holly wakes up thinking we are the woodsmen. She asks if we ever cared at all for Lily. Pretending to be him, we say yes. I mean, after all, you don't keep going to the same person over and over if you don't feel at least something for them. Now wondering what Bigby is doing, if he even cares about what happened to Lily or anything that's going on at all. Still pretending to be Woody, we say he's trying to do what he feels is right. Lily had a book filled with appointments and addresses. The initials AG are found and an address next to it. Snow then calls the bar looking for us. We answer, informing her about the address. We knock on Auntie Greenleaf's door, being greeted by a child, Rachel, saying her mother isn't home. Snow just lets herself in, saying we just want to check around and be quick. A few notable things are found once inside: a picture of Greenleaf and Rachel, a box labeled "Return to the Butcher" with a strange symbol stamped on it, and an old tree from the homelands Greenleaf carves trinkets from. As we are leaving, a glamour tube is found. Picking it up sees Rachel start to freak out, begging us not to touch it. Her mom would be furious and she doesn't want to get in any trouble. Something is off here, so we open it as Rachel is then de-glamored, revealing to be Auntie Greenleaf, who I also believe was just made for the comic and video game. She's not based off of anybody. Greenleaf, like all the others, gives us the runaround when questioning her. And when Snow mentions Crane being a murderer, she says we might want to check our facts on that. She talks about a higher power beyond our petty authority, and at this point Snow has had enough, calling out Greenleaf's crimes of harboring a fugitive, operating in the black market, all while undermining everything she and everyone else has worked so hard for. The only way to deal with it is burning the tree so she can no longer use its magic. Quick to shout no, Greenleaf pleads for the tree. It's a part of her family and the only thing she has left to keep paying for the apartment. Fables who can't afford glamours made by the 13th floor witches come to her. Without the use of her glamours, where would the non-passable fables go? We stop Snow, citing Greenleaf could be useful. She could officially work for us along with the other witches. Snow demanding we burn the tree now. With a last-ditch effort, we're finally told that Crane was indeed there. He took her ring, then leaving for the pudding and pie. It's the ring of dispel used to pierce the magic, preventing the prostitutes from speaking about their jobs. Crane believes this will pull the truth out of the girls, proving his innocence. Unfortunately for him, the ring lost its power decades ago. Snow still wants to burn the tree, but we put our foot down, refusing, hiring Greenleaf as the office's new witch. So back to the strip club, we find Crane yelling at one of the strippers, "Tell me who did it, I know you know." We stop him, Snow telling us not to punch him. Crane then pleads that it was not him. If he could just get the ring to work, the girls would be able to confirm his story. Further shouting, "Tell me who killed her," in a last attempt to get the truth while pointing the ring at Nerissa, only to be met with, "Her lips are sealed." Snow doesn't believe he did it. Just look at him. He wouldn't be brave enough to do something like that, she says. He's a disgusting coward, not a murderer. Either way, we have enough evidence to put him away for defrauding Fabletown at least. Snow places him under arrest, and Crane goes on about it's a hard job. We wouldn't last a minute in his shoes, blah blah blah, I made sacrifices. The town took so much out of him, why wouldn't he do it in return? He regrets nothing, because he simply does not care, caring only that he was outed for his obsession with Snow. Just when we're about to take him to jail, 3 cars pull up, blocking both ways. A woman and the twins step out, guns pointed at us. They're here for the crooked man's property, Crane. Snow puts up a fight, prompting the woman to ask Tweedledee, what's the thing the Mundies call her?
My nickname. You know what I'm talking about.
Bloody
Mary, that's it. Thank you. And do you know why they call me that? Because some of them, they think it's funny to have their little sleepovers and go into their little bathrooms and say my name 5 times in the mirror. They find it less funny when I actually show up and feed their lungs to the family dog.
I really love this character. Not just because she can hurt me and put me in my place, but because she's a psychopath. She loves being evil, and I'm all for that. This has awakened in me a newfound love for her. If I don't make another video again, just know that I said what I had to say 5 times in the mirror, and I'm currently living my best life. Snow refusing to give Crane up gets us blasted by several rounds of buckshot. Definitely thinking back to her stupid question now. Yes, Snow, I love buckshot 6 inches deep in my chest, thank you. Well, this is enough to take us further into our wolf form. This is what is known as a wolf form that has ascended past a wolf form. Or you could just call this a wolf form 2. Drop a comment below if you caught that reference. We get our slow-mo on walking towards the twins while still getting blasted. We achieve our transformation and proceed to absolutely wreck the twins. Much needed because I can't stand them. Don't like their fat faces, annoying voices, which is a good thing. These two were written to be evil, to be disliked, and I think the writers did a good job, as well as my beloved Mommy Mary. We have the option to kill dumb, but no, we are better than this. We've worked on self-control and accountability for our actions. No need to throw that all away. And just then, my betrothed has betrayed me, firing a silver bullet into my back, then proceeds to pull out the woodsman's axe to finish the job. When Snow finally shouts to take Crane, the crooked man rolls down the window, motioning in agreement to let us go for Crane. Coming to in our apartment, Swinehart is fishing out the silver shrapnel from the bullet. We peer down and see our arm just snapped in half hanging there. And one of the most metal things I have ever seen, we set our arm back for Swinehart to bandage it. It's nice to see Colin is here expressing concern for us. And we're able to spring back fairly quickly, grabbing a beer from the fridge and moving our arm around. We talk with Snow about where Crane could be and what is the crooked man's motive. He's been the one working the strings, and it's all about total control of Fabletown. Snow now wondering, what about the dead prostitutes? What do they have to do with this? Snow once again says something stupid, saying we now need to do things the right way. She has no room to talk because we've been doing everything. I don't see her with an injury. Now she's got the nerve to say we both did a bad job. Okay. Colin is now upset that she could say something like that, especially given the monsters we're dealing with. We need monsters to fight monsters, and sometimes you have to go down that route. A phone call interrupts the argument. It's Nerissa. She wants to speak with us at our office. Before leaving, Colin asks if we're really going to let Snow send him back to the farm. Don't have a definite answer for him. Hard to tell with everything going on with Snow. Hopefully she'll change her mind. At the office, Nerissa starts by asking if we're alright. I mean, luckily for you, you didn't see me get shot a bunch of times. You know, it's 8:38 a.m. as I'm writing this script, and it dawned on me that no one in this game drinks any coffee. So many murder mysteries have at least one detective or detective-like characters, the cops, whoever, drinking coffee, most likely black. You got the cigarettes part right. I've got my coffee. Where's yours? Anywho, Nerissa wants to help, truly, but with the magic still in effect, she cannot say much. She does give a very quotable phrase. Sometimes we have to find our way through life on our own, grasping and fumbling in the dark. She goes on about the friends she used to have, helping her find her way, but now they're all gone and she doesn't know what to do. Friends matter to her, she doesn't have any left, which is why she hopes we are looking after ours. Wondering if our friends are in danger, we question her more, given a sadly look of these lips are sealed. She asks if we like her ribbon, just like Faith did, when everything finally connects. The ribbons are the magic that prevents the girls from speaking about anything that could possibly get the ones behind this in trouble. We are given the option to try to remove her ribbon, but I'm not messing with magic that powerful. A knock on the door sends Narissa into a panic. We calm her by saying it's just Snow. She then asks us to keep the conversation between us. Snow tells us Beauty and Beast called the office just now wanting to talk with us about something. Narissa now thanking us as she leaves, mentioning we should go on to our next business. She doesn't think we'll be wasting our time. A good way to send a message getting around the ribbon's magic. First thing to note about Beast and Beauty's apartment is how expensive it looks. Aren't you supposed to be just getting by, indicated by Beauty working at the open arms? Beast is reluctant to let us help. Must still be ashamed of that ass whooping. He wants some kind of insurance for if they talk about the crooked man and we don't catch him, it could come back on them. Giving the response of, do you think you're the only ones in danger? We need that information. They're in so much debt, but look around, this isn't the way people who are barely getting by live. Beast saying they are used to living a certain lifestyle, just couldn't give that up. I'm hearing faint whispers of accountability. Dude, the life y'all had is over. You both are responsible for working towards a better life for yourselves. We were rich. We had servants. Woe is me, I can't be a poor person. Get over it. They got in over their heads, and that is why Beauty went to Snow for financial aid. The phone rings and we block Beast from answering it, leading to a voicemail. It's a loan shark threatening to now make a house call if they continue to not pay, prompting Beauty to give up the location she borrowed money from, the Lucky Pawn. People talk to Jersey, as in the Jersey Devil, how very fitting, about loans. He is also known as a Wendigo or Wendigo, however you say it. Lots of fables go to the shop pawning whatever they can. The woodsman was there to pawn his axe, that's how Bloody Mary got it. Beast doesn't want us to go down there, so to not get Beauty in trouble, when he reveals he's been working for the crooked man. There is a butcher shop called the Cut Above. Beast was delivering packages from there for a while. He doesn't think meat is in there. Yeah, no shit, dude. Beast was originally there to fix the refrigeration unit. Mary was the one who paid him, saying he was reliable and she liked that. Two options are now given. Go to the pawn shop first or the butcher. So we start leaving for the butcher shop, and these clowns have the nerve, the audacity, to ask us to help them out by making the crooked man disappear. I really should have beat Beast ass when I had the chance. No one is inside the butcher shop, but a delivery box can be found with the same symbol that was found in Auntie Greenleaf's home. The worker comes out, surprised to see us, asking if we need anything. Looking over the meat, it's all rotten, and I love giving him the silent treatment as he breaks down. He eventually makes up an excuse of hearing a noise in the back as he retreats, pressing the silent alarm, which we quickly deduce walking back into the fridge. We find him stacking boxes against a door. He breaks down asking us to not kill him, all while still giving him the silent treatment. Johan, you can keep your life and lose your shop, or lose both, is what Mary told him while he was hanging on a meat hanger. Mary and the twins were hanging out one hot summer day when they decided to use the shop as a front for the real operation, which is clearly this Fable meth lab. Inside this secret compartment, a red light is on, the silent alarm Johan pressed earlier alerting the people inside to run away. A plethora of raw magic ingredients are found on the shelves. This is where the crooked man has glamours and other magical items created by the use of slave labor, evident by these shackles covered in blood. Beast was the one who was delivering the contraband, and there is a chalkboard filled with names of various fables who need the glamours. Making glamours this way is bound to be way cheaper than the 13th floor, but at what cost? Yeah, it's cool that less fortunate fables are able to afford them, but the trade-off isn't worth it. People just don't know the real cost of getting something so cheap. And Crane knew all about it, further cementing his status as a piece of shit. Johan asking why we don't question Crane, arrest him. Problem is, we can't find him due to the missing mirror piece he took. Telling us that if Mary and the others got their hands on a magical artifact, there's only one place it would be taken to, the Lucky Pawn, which is probably where they held Crane after the night they took him. Johann is now afraid he must look over his shoulder for the rest of his life for Mary. Once again, we give him the silent treatment, leaving. You should be scared. You're a part of it. Anytime you could have gone to Snow or us for help. I have no sympathy. Down at the pawn shop, Woody and Jersey are fighting over the axe that Mary took. Jersey asking if he loved it so much, why did he pawn it? Woody shouting he didn't, it was stolen from his apartment. Woody then snatches him up, calling him a bald dipshit. And I'm over here like, aren't you bald too? At least Woody committed to the baldness. Jersey needs to shave the rest of that shit off his head. Let it go, man. Getting in between them is no help as Jersey hits us in the stomach, taunting about the dead hookers, calling us not so tough until we grab his arm, smashing his face into the display cases. Woody then interrupting that this is his fight. Jersey then transforms into his true form, jumping on Woody, beating him. We go into wolf form 1, kicking him into the wall, trading blows until we catch him snapping one of his horns off, stabbing him in his stomach. Woody, finding his axe, nails Jersey in the head, then we smash a statue on top of it, getting him to stay down. Woody places his axe by Jersey's neck so we can question him. Where is the magic mirror's missing shard? Jersey now taunting us that we know nothing about nothing. We can't find the crooked man. No one can. The door to his house bounces around, never in one spot for too long. Even Crane had to use the mirror to find him. We can find Crane stuff in the back, a jacket with the missing mirror piece inside a pocket, and a nice wad of cash, and another picture of Snow. Jersey tells us there's nothing we can do against the crooked man. When he wants you dead, that's it. And that nothing we do will mean anything, they're already dead, blah blah blah. There's a nice little interaction between Bigby and Woody. He knows we care about what happened to the girls and that we can do something. The two finding some kind of peace as Bigby asks if he'll be alright before heading into the cab. Toad is at the office, Snow telling us we need to send him to the farm since he still won't get a glamour. Mr. Toad says that he can't afford the glamour, requesting money from us. We'll come back to why I said no to him later in the video. He gets upset that Colin is still around. What's up with that? Colin stays out of sight, we respond. He's in our apartment all the time. Not only that, it's easier to explain a pig versus a dwarf-sized frog. Snow asks the now fixed mirror where Crane is. He's speaking with Mary, who is forcing him to go to Paris, waiting until the crooked man needs him again. She's actually able to detect the mirror is watching her, doing some kind of magic attack against it. Makes sense she can feel the presence of something like that given that she is all about mirrors. When asking about the crooked man, a brown door is shown with a sigil on it. When it suddenly changes locations to the Central Park. We know where to go now, but Snow stops us saying we need to bring him in so he can stand trial. No street justice. No promises, but we'll try. Tiny Tim from A Christmas Carol is the doorman. He was one of the people in line outside the office at the beginning of the game. The crooked man employed him to escort people. Tim brings up the point that a lot of fables rely on the crooked man. No one could ever come to Crane with their problems because he didn't care. He didn't care about their apartments falling apart and the need of less costly glamours, nothing. Tim is able to make ends meet because of the crooked man. He agrees that he does do bad things, but what else can he do? He needs to be able to make ends meet. Most of all, Tim doesn't want some kind of war between the two of us. You can actually be pretty rude to Tim, out walking him and going into the crooked man's office without him letting you in, but I chose not to, didn't see a point to act like that. Our enemies are now in full sight, the Tweedles, Georgie, Jersey, and the crooked man. The crooked man offers us food and drink, and for the sake of transparency, please tell him why we're here. Calling him out on everything, sees him say, how do we know this isn't some conspiracy against him? He has a lot of enemies after all. He understands the confusion and is truly sorry about the trouble all of this has caused us. What a smug little fuck. Now he's throwing one of his employees under the bus, stating one of them committed the murders against his orders, but promising they will be dealt with. Joke's on him, we already know who did it, calling out Georgie as the murderer. The crooked man giving us an attaboy and apologizing he ever doubted us. Really making it difficult to take you back alive. Georgie, not having a care in the world, says, so what I killed them. Should have kept our nose where it belonged. The Crooked Man says Georgie misinterpreted his orders, causing him to get upset. Georgie believing he'd be protected on the request of the Crooked Man to kill those girls. Now he's upset everyone is turning their back on him. The Crooked Man offers to let us take Georgie in. He gets up shouting he won't be the only one to go down. Fed up with trying to be a peaceful negotiator, the Crooked Man calls in Mary, who's just been chilling in a mirror. We get attacked by everyone while the Crooked Man escapes with Mary. Quickly transforming, we get the upper hand on the attackers. Georgie misses a knife stab, hitting D in the process. We overpower him, grabbing the knife, slicing Georgie's stomach open, when Vivian, another girl with a ribbon, helps him escape. Jersey tries to step in but gets quickly dealt with. Running to catch Georgie's car, we go into wolf form 2. The car gets away, but we take to the rooftops giving chase. More QTEs, and we are given the chance to jump to the Crooked Man's car with Mary driving, or Georgie's with Vivian driving. Continuing with Georgie gets them backed into an alley. Vivian floors it and we dodge just in time, watching the pair get out walking into the pudding and pie. Vivian tries to defend Georgie. Look at him. Hasn't he had enough? This isn't his fault. We've all made a few mistakes, right? A few mistakes? Are you stupid? He's pimping all of you out, giving fees for you to work there, binding everyone with a magical ribbon, threatening harm if someone steps out of line, and killed Faith and Lily. Some serious Stockholm Syndrome here. Or you would think, but nope. She was a part of it. Vivian is based on the urban legend of a woman named Jenny, who always wore a green ribbon around her neck, refusing to ever take it off. Upon her death, her husband untied it, causing her head to fall off. Vivian used her original ribbon to make multiple copies for the girls to wear to ensure absolute discretion. The original would have to be removed to break the spell. If that happens, she'll die. Vivian says she does care about the other girls and no one was ever supposed to die. When her and Georgie first built this place, that was their stupid gimmick, guaranteed discretion. It was supposed to be their place, being the only ones in charge. Then the Crooked Man showed up, ruining everything. Hold on a second. You smell that? Smells like a fresh batch of accountability. So easy for her to pass the blame on someone else. If you didn't want to be a part of it, you should have walked away. Instead, you believed a psycho and a tough guy pimp wouldn't do anything too bad. Georgie goads us into taking her ribbon off when she stops us trying to do so, going into a rant of, you think I wanted this life, you think I wanted to hurt Faith and Lily, feel bad for me as she unties her ribbon dying of suicide. I don't like this for two reasons. One, why does Bigby look so distraught when he was about to pull the ribbon off himself, already knowing the consequences of doing so? It's like the writers forgot he was ready to kill her so the others would be freed. Reason number two, where is Hans? Hans doesn't have a ribbon, and he knows about the book that contains the girls' appointments, addresses, etc. He is always there, so he definitely would have seen or heard something. I feel there should have been an option for Hans to overhear the conversation hidden away somewhere, to give a statement about what happened with Georgie and Vivian, keeping her alive and able to atone for what she did. Also giving all the witches we have on the payroll a chance to break the curse of the ribbon, giving Vivian a new chance at life after her atonement. Instead, she gets off scot-free. Georgie bleeds out with an option for us to end his suffering before giving up the Crooked Man's location at the Shepherd Metalworks. We're in the home stretch now, folks. Mary is taunting us once we get inside the factory. Shelves are found listed with debt the Fables have, collaterals, and a ton of surveillance on us. Mary gets the drop on us, knocking us to the floor with a punch. The Crooked Man steps in, apologizing that he has business to attend to, leaving us with Mary. And oh boy, does she give us her business. She is very strong and fast, being able to get away from us, forcing us to go into Wolf Form 1. She's hiding in the factory, talking a whole lot of shit. We squeeze through some machinery when she quickly slashes us, revealing her true form. Us now needing to go into Wolf Form 2. In this form, we are somewhat of an even match, but not for long because apparently Mary knows Shadow Clone Jutsu. We hold our own for a little bit until the numbers game takes over. getting slashed by her and her clones nonstop. As we are dying, something is awakened. And this is to go even further beyond. I'm just kidding. Bigby's true form is revealed, called the Big Bad Wolf, and it's pretty awesome. We are able to protect every Discord kitten out there. This entire time we've been going through Wolf Form 1 and 2, the fights got easy, but depending on who, still challenging. But in Wolf Form 3, it's cakewalk. We completely body Mary. She doesn't even remotely stand a chance. We blow away all her clones, a powerful win Bigby inherited from his father, when there is only one left. Mary jumps from the ceiling in one last attempt to stab us when we meet midair, biting down on her, crushing her to pieces. Get wrecked. Reverting back to human form, our clothes are gone but conveniently placed close by. Not sure how they didn't shred during the transformation, but whatever. Now it's time to head into the office and catch the Crooked Man. He pulls a gun on us containing a silver bullet, demanding we take him in. He wants a trial and, more importantly, a chance to speak to the community. You can kill him here or take him in. We will be choosing the latter for this playthrough. A handful of people we've met throughout the game are attending the trial inside the chamber that houses the witching well. Snow begins listing off the charges when the Crooked Man denies killing Faith and Lily. It was Georgie who did confess but died before he could give a statement about being told to do it by the Crooked Man. The rest of the charges are then read, leading to the Crooked Man being allowed to talk and give his side of the story. He goes on a tangent about how he has done so much for all the fables, giving multiple of them jobs, cheaper glamours, and even getting Auntie Greenleaf's tree back. Where would they be without him? Crane and those in charge abandoned them, all while he was there to save them. There is a mechanic introduced called losing or winning the crowd. You have to counteract what the Crooked Man is saying, or some fables may potentially turn on you. When you inform those still on the fence about whose side to take about the Crooked Man just exploiting them, you can turn the tides in your favor. Yes, he did give people money, but with such high interest rates, they're stuck in it for life, turning to him for work that in some cases would be considered illegal. Yes, he got Greenleaf's tree back, but forces her into making glamours nonstop. He also made sure other fables got glamours as well through the use of slave labor from a literal meth lab sweatshop. He exploits everyone at every possible turn until they can't live without the services he provides. While yes, this is true, it boils down to not what you know, what you can prove. We have no proof or no one who is willing or able to give a statement of the crimes the Crooked Man committed. Until Nerissa shows up, free from the ribbon's magic since Vivian's suicide. She spills the beans about everything. The Crooked Man was the one who ordered Faith and Lily's death. Nerissa was in the room with him. The Crooked Man made Georgie do it. Georgie would never do anything without his say-so, ever, and at least 5 other girls will back up what Nerissa is saying. Now faced with 3 options, you can kill the Crooked Man, imprison him, or throw him down the witching well. Before so, he wraps his cuffed hands around our neck, taking us hostage. But being the strong wolf we are, we're able to overpower him, throwing him down the witching well. Death is too easy for him, and locking him up gives an escape chance. As Mace Windu once said,
"He's too dangerous to be left alive."
Let him rot back in the homelands. Have everything you wanted and the power to back it up now reduced to nothing. One day later, we're back at the Woodland Luxury Apartments in preparation for the truck to take the unpassable fables to the farm. Except our boy Colin. Giving a last goodbye to Mr. Toad sees him very upset with us that he and TJ have to go to the farm, and here is why I didn't give him the money earlier. No matter what you do, Toad and TJ will always end up at the farm, because Snow refuses to let him buy a glamour. I cannot stand this at all. This entire time, she yaps on about if you don't have a glamour, you have to go to the farm. I'm super serious, guys, listen to me. While yes, I can agree, all non-passable fables need a glamour required by law, he could have gotten one. Snow talked so much about major changes if she was in charge, and now that she's acting mayor, where are they? This was your chance to temporarily make glamours cheaper, make some kind of program for reduced cost ones, something, anything. Instead, Fables are now forced to leave yet another home because you can't take accountability for your actions and your wants and promises of change. Anywho, TJ wants us to give Snow a gift. It was her favorite beetle from his insect collection. She doesn't deserve it, little buddy. When we spot Nerissa across the street greeting her. Surprised to see she's still wearing the ribbon, we ask why. It's something she has to do on her own when she is ready. But she does have something to tell us about Faith and Lily. Nerissa, Faith, and Lily had a plan to run away, leaving the pudding and pie for good. Faith took it upon herself to also get leverage in case something ever happened. That leverage being the photo of Crane with Lily. That's why Tweedledee was in the woodsman's apartment, because Faith was with him and she might have left it there. Afraid the Crooked Man would find out, Nerissa told Georgie about it in hopes he could get the Crooked Man to leave them alone, begging for mercy. Georgie promised to smooth things over, but that night at the club he said things needed to change, needed to make an example of them. While Lily and Nerissa sat there, Faith walked in and Georgie killed her in front of them. Back at the well, Nerissa lied saying that it was the Crooked Man who said those things. Technically, they both had a hand in the girl's death, but still not the full truth. Nerissa tried to warn Lily, but she wasn't with her scheduled appointment at the time. Doing what she felt was the only option left, Nerissa took Faith's head, leaving it out our doorstep, cutting her leg as she fled the scene. She started this whole thing and hopes to get justice for her friend. Nerissa and the other girls are all uncared for and are just supposed to take the abuse with a smile falling through the cracks. Nerissa is thankful for all we have done, and we honestly feel like we didn't make a difference. No one really seems all that happy, and many Fables are now forced to go to the farm. We part ways with her when she says this.
You're not as bad as everyone says you are.
I need to tell you something. I have to tell you something.
I feel like we've met before.
You're trying to place me. You like my ribbon? Do you like it?
Faith wore one too.
Would hide her beauty so she could escape his kingdom.
They used to call me the Little Mermaid.
Dr. Swinehart ever get back to you about Faith?
He said he wanted to run more tests. I hope you find what you're looking for.
And this right here is why people are still talking about this game. Are we talking to Faith, glamored as Nerissa? Or did Faith die before the game started and we see someone else, most likely Nerissa, glamored as Faith? Let me explain. Theory 1. Faith is still alive, glamored to look like Nerissa. Evidence. They say the exact same thing in the same way from the beginning of the game. Both have the exact same purse and both smoke with their right hand. Both also asking if we liked their ribbon. The mirror cannot show Faith upon our request to see her, reciting his lips are sealed. But my question is, why and how? Faith would have to have inside knowledge about her death, and why would she glamour herself to look like someone that the bad guys already know is dead? It couldn't be to maintain appearances, because then Faith would be the one to appear missing. They wouldn't kill Nerissa because it was already established that Faith was the one who stole the picture. So Faith would have to glamour herself as Nerissa, tell Georgie what happened, then somehow get the real Nerissa glamored as Faith to take the fall. There are debates that because of Faith's ability to hide who she really is, that it would be easy for her to pass as someone else. But again, how do you get the real Nerissa to be glamored as her? She wouldn't agree to it, there's no reason to. Another thing is about the note Faith left to her husband, Prince Lawrence, saying she is sorry. Some people say this is her apologizing for the eventual faking of her death. I disagree. My belief is that she was saying sorry for how bad things gotten between them, leaving him becoming something she never wanted to, i.e. a prostitute. Theory number 2. Nerissa was glamored as Faith in the beginning of the game, and Faith had already been killed before the events of the game start. Somehow believing that if she could cause some kind of ruckus, Bigby would show up, she could garner some kind of sympathy so that when the real Faith's head is discovered, we'd be more inclined to investigate. After all, Nerissa considered Faith her friend and she wanted justice for her. What better way to do it than to make you feel at least something for Faith given her situation? To loop back to the magic mirror, I think the reason why the mirror said his lips were sealed in regards to Faith is not because she is alive, but because the magic is just that powerful, and since Vivian was not dead at the time, the spell is still working. Because even Mary was able to hurt the mirror, indicating that magic can be used against him. I'm not sure which one to believe because I feel like the writers wanted a big reveal. They wanted us to believe Faith was still alive. Otherwise, I can't see them having Nerissa say that, alluding to someone else. Then I ask myself, if Faith did die, how did Nerissa get her head to begin with? Surely Georgie and company would have disposed of it. Moreover, why do the writers make Faith and Nerissa alike by saying the same things? There's so many theories and discussions to be had about The Wolf Among Us, this video would last for way too many hours. I'd like to hear your theory, so drop a comment below. If you stopped the video beforehand, let me know how your first playthrough was and what choices did you pick. Now please enjoy some pictures of my dog Winston, as I don't think I'm too good at wrapping up a video. He's been by my side keeping me company while making this video, and I want to thank you all for watching. Please consider subscribing if you think I earned it. I hope you have a lovely day, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.